Welcome to An Outside View. I'm your host, Dick Zaccaro, and joining me today is, I'm not going to say an old friend of mine, but a longtime friend of mine, William O'Donnell, Register of Deeds in Norfolk County. I know him as Bill. Bill, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on.
Great, Dick. Thank you, and thanks to Walpole Media for doing this. It's great to be here, and I didn't have far to go. I grew up in Norwood, so always good to be in Walpole.
Right. It's a beautiful studio, isn't it?
It's great, and it's great that you get information out to the community.
Absolutely. Why don't we start off, Bill? Maybe you can tell the people a little bit about your background, first of all, and how long you've been on the job, and also what the primary function of the Register of Deeds is.
Sure. I grew up in Norwood. Went to Xaverian, Georgetown University, and Boston College Law School. When I came back from law school, of course, was an attorney, was an assistant district attorney, was a private practice attorney. I had I did litigation, but also, I did work in the conveyancing field. And, been active in Norwood, coaching youth sports and certainly got involved, much like a lot of people, as town meeting member, as an elected planning board member. And I'm now the Register of Deeds, and I've been there since 2002, so time goes by. And it's funny.
That means you must be doing a good job.
I hope so. Most people don't know what the Registry of Deeds does. It's a sleepy arm of government. But when you think about it, the biggest asset most of us have are our homes, and that's what the registry deals with. So all land records, all community land records get recorded, and they've been recorded at the Registry of Deeds. There's been a Registry of Deeds in Dedham since 1793 when the county was formed. And Walpole's one of the 28 communities that make up Norfolk County. So all these land records, whether it's a deed to your house, or if you're borrowing money, the lender's going to make sure the mortgage is recorded there. When you're lucky enough to pay a mortgage off, a discharge gets recorded. Or some of your local boards, the Conservation Commission or the Board of Appeals might have a variance request that needs to be recorded by a homeowner who got a variance, or some conditions on the Conservation Commission, a Conservation Commission order. It all gets recorded at the registry, and I have a great staff. We in fiscal year 21 recorded over 205,000 documents. It's been very busy, and again, that's that's what gets done at the registry. I always try to point out, though, for the people that are watching, that's important to the lawyers and the real estate brokers, and of course it's important to you when you're buying a house. You want to make sure everything's done right, but there's a lot of things consumers can do that get done at the registry. If you own a house and it's your principal residence, the state law gives you a right to put a homestead protection on, so you might want to consider that. And if you have mortgages or you're refinanced, you might want to make sure that if those mortgages have been paid off, that there's a mortgage discharge there, so it's done right away. Of course, if you need a discharge, you got the Walpole Cooperative Banks, great. You go right down and, hey, I need a discharge. They'd give it to you. A discharge tells the world your mortgage has been paid off. But some of the bigger banks don't have as good a customer service as the local community banks. So sometimes you got to chase it down. Right. So those are some of the things, if people are watching, go to our website. It's www.norfolkdeeds.org. We have information about the Homestead Act. We have the form if you want to download it. But that's a great way to protect your principal residence. If you've borrowed money, you might want to, and those mortgages were paid off, whether you refinanced or you're lucky enough to have your mortgages paid off. My youngest just got out of college, so I'm not there yet. Right. You can either do it yourself, check online. All our records are available back to 1793 online, or just go to our website and get some information. And we have a customer service center, and I probably should thank my father. He climbed poles for the Boston Edison. Not here in Walpole, but he was out of Waltham. And
tough job.
Yeah, and he did it for 38 years. But he said, hey, that stuff you're doing at work with all the computerization. Remember, some of us don't know anything about computers and don't care to know anything about computers. So we do have a customer service center. The number is 781-461-6101. You can call, and there's a person there that will answer any questions you have and try to help you out.
Excellent. Good description of your background and the office. Where is the office physically located?
Sure. It's, as I said, the Registry of Deeds has been around. Norfolk County's been around since 1793. Governor John Hancock, one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence, signed legislation that established Norfolk County. So Dedham has been the county seat. The registry, it's been in 4 spots, but always in Dedham. And currently it's at 649 High Street. I call it the beautiful registry building. They got great pillars there, and it's across from another historic building, that gold-domed Norfolk Superior Court. So the registry is located in Dedham. We're open. I know there's been health issues with the pandemic, and but we're open to the public, and even during the pandemic, I have to say my staff did a great job. We were operational. This goes back to March of 2020. We were operational and open every day during the pandemic. Now, for a time there, the public couldn't come in. We had a drop-off box, but the staff did a great job. And then, early in the spring of 2021, we just opened and people could come in. I think we were one of the first buildings to open. Mm-hmm. And I think it's important to thank the thank the staff. They did a great job. And D'Angelo's during the pandemic had this Everyday Heroes program, and they picked the registry workers for their work during the pandemic as one of the honorees. So it was good that they got recognition. But we did it all with technology. I mean, the lawyers didn't have to. We still print books at the registry. In fact, we just put our 40,000th book on. So we still do it the old-fashioned way. We print books, but it's all online, so the attorneys can use the technology to look up the information and do the research. In 2017, we passed legislation, and Norfolk County was one of the first registries to record electronically in the land court. We had been doing it on the recorded land side. There are 2 sides of land at the Registry of Deeds. So technology, that was important, because now a lawyer here in Walpole, and you got a couple of great firms here in Walpole doing business, they might do a closing, and they can send the documents electronically. It was authorized by state law and federal law, and it gets recorded. So it's called recording electronically. And during the pandemic, I mean, we didn't put all these in place because we thought a pandemic was coming. We were trying to modernize the registry, but it allows like attorneys here in Quincy to send the documents. So with the pandemic, we didn't miss a beat. As a matter of fact, the statistics show, Dick, that before the pandemic, 50% of the land on the recorded land side was getting recorded electronically, and 20% on the land court. Now, with the pandemic and it's sort of post-pandemic, it's 90% on the recorded land side and 85% on the land court side that are recording documents electronically. Again, we're still open. People can come in person and record. But it's all done with technology, and I think that's an important thing to stress. And what we've tried to do is make the registry a customer service-oriented operation using that technology. So we're in Dedham, and people are welcome to come by. Like I said, we have 40,000 books they can go through, and the indexes are all there. Or if they want to, we try to bring the registry's records to your home and business through the internet, and you can take that virtual trip, and all those documents are a click away. In fact, there are 11 million images in our library, all back to 1793. So the registry's been there since 1793, and all the documents are viewable online back to 1793. And I know I've spoken to the Walpole Historical Society, and there's a lot of people interested in history. And I like challenges. We had, from 1793 to 1900, all the documents were handwritten. So if someone in 1793 drove their horse in from Walpole, they would hand the document to the people at the registry. They didn't have copy machines or computers. The scrivener would handwrite the document into the book and give the document back. Well, all those handwritten documents, we've transcribed them, and again, using technology and using staff work. So from 1793 to 1900, they were all handwritten. So we took over 450,000 handwritten documents and transcribed them. And David McCulloch, who is a historian and author, actually wrote us a note that said, how great it was to have transcribed documents because it made it easier to read and easier to do the research. So again, maybe in 1900, what happened then? So some register was probably going around saying how he modernized it. It was Register Burdekin. The typewriter had come in, and that was now they went to typewriting. So that was the big technology modernization back in 1900. But I enjoy. I'm the 11th register, and I still think the mission's the same. Those registers back in 1793 wanted to make sure everything was recorded accurately, safely, securely, and that whoever wanted to look at the records could look at them. Now, clearly, we deliver it a little differently now with the computers and the internet, and I think we've taken a sleepy arm government, and at least, by way of my background, like you said, when I worked for Congressman Moakley, so I learned, it's a people business. I try to take a few things that I've learned, in government, whether it's government can do things well and government can do things not so well. But also being in the private sector, you try to run it like a business too. You learn that, there's a budget and you got to live within the budget. So I've tried to combine all those backgrounds to really try to make the registry relevant. So people, if they want to make the registry something that they need information for, they can do it. And I set the direction, but my IT staff, it involves technology, and technology is so important to the Registry of Deeds. It's been the cornerstone of what the modernization initiatives since I've been there in 2002. Right. When I started, they didn't have emails there. The internet was just starting, and now we got a little on the internet, and then more and more, and now we're back to 1793.
Terrific. I can visualize someone back in the 1700s signing a deed in a feather tip ink pen.
Right. Well, there's some interesting deeds, and yes, interesting documents, and there's a lot of history there. Norfolk County has 4 presidents that were born here. Yeah. It's the county of presidents. So,
Adams.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but you're right. John Adams, John Quincy Adams, and John Kennedy was born in Brookline, and a lot of people don't realize George Herbert Walker Bush, George Bush Sr., was born in Milton. So very few counties can say that 4 presidents were born in the county.
Trivia question.
Yes, makes me good at cocktail parties.
Let's talk a little bit about your position as an elected position.
Yes, it's a 6-year term. I'm not up for election. I mean, when I like getting out to the communities, and a lot of, it's great to get, a lot of people, cable shows, and people ask me to come out because, it's a 6-year term. I'm not up till 2024, but I like getting out and just, making the registry relevant to people and letting them know what's out there. And if they need to look up things or if they need some help, they can give us a call or email us,
Let's talk about your funding for the Register of Deeds. Where's the primary funds coming from?
The primary...
It's a county.
We're a county registry. The primary funds come from the Deeds Excise. Deeds Excise, there's a $4.56 charge per 1,000. Now, most of that money goes to the state. We collected at the registry in fiscal year 21 over $81 million.
Wow.
Now, we get a portion of that to run our budget. It goes to the county. To the county, we sent over $11 million. That funds us. And right now, there's an issue going with the county involving our technology. And everyone has different viewpoints, but my viewpoint is we have a 2-person IT staff, and I want to keep them under the registry budget, in the registry budget, working for me, working for the registry staff, because all the things we just talked about, it all starts with technology. So you heard about all that money coming in. I don't know why you're not cutting positions because there's only 2 of them. It's not like it's some, I recognize in, whether you're consolidation or elimination, whatever words you want to use, sometimes, government, this isn't a 20-person department that is bloated. It's a 2-person permanent IT department.
And that's a function of the commissioners? Do they make the ultimate decision, Norfolk County
Well,
Commissioners?
as the
They
registry of
oversee.
deeds, that's where there's kind of this, I'm elected to run the registry of deeds,
Right.
but it's a county structure, so you have to go to the county commissioners and the advisory board. Each
They're like the
town,
watchdog.
well, each town, it's like town meeting. Each town has a representative that's
Right.
appointed by the selectmen. It could be a selectman or it could be a regular citizen. And all 28 communities have that. And so right now, there was a consultant, a paid consultant the county hired to look at everything in the county. I got no issues with that. It's good to look at things. It's good to
Right.
change things up.
Independent evaluation.
I've changed things up at the registry. I mean, you can't say that we haven't been an agent of change when you look at all the things that we do at the registry. My issue is we did it all by having people on staff. I've had a chief information officer since 2002, and my predecessors, Register Harold and Register Hannon, they had IT staff. And technology isn't going to stop. And to me, I like having people on staff because things come up with technology. Things go down. Lawyers need questions answered. People come in, and our IT staff is in sync with our operations. We're a team approach, and to say you're going to move or potentially put the IT staff somewhere else under someone else's control. I really don't care what you do in the other parts of the county. Don't harm the registry of deeds. Right. And I think that's why a lot of attorneys, I know some local attorneys here have sent letters. The Real Estate Bar Association of Massachusetts sent letters saying, look, the registry of deeds does a great job. I mean, and these are in the letters. I mean, I think it, I believe it. They say Norfolk is one of the best, if not the best. In fact, one attorney used the word, the Norfolk Registry is the gold standard of registries. Well, don't hurt the registry. Embrace what we do.
Especially after you emphasize the importance of the computer generation today. You need good technology people, and it impacts local communities, as you pointed out. I was recently elected to the Board of Assessors in Walpole. We rely heavily on a lot of the information that comes from your office.
Well, yes, and it's funny. I'm coming from the Norfolk Suffolk Assessors Association, where it's a big concern to them. And in fact, Don Clark, who's a Norfolk assessor, wrote a letter to the county commissioners saying how reliant and what a great relationship my IT staff has with his town's IT and his department, because people don't realize the Registry of Deeds every month sends the documents to the towns that they need, the assessors need to evaluate the properties, and really by Department of DOR, Department of Revenue Regulations, you have to set the tax rate. Right. So I don't know if people just aren't aware of what goes on at the registry or are not aware how important it is to have technology on site. And you can spin it any way you want. That's what we need. We need that. And it's funny, there's another department, the assessors, that people don't realize there's a role that the registry has with the assessing departments. And so we keep going. I've been criticized, for taking this position. And, as an attorney, you're used to it. But one of the criticisms is, I had filed a lawsuit to, because they didn't appoint a chief information officer. It was a 2-to-1 vote on June 30th. And I filed suit, and I've been criticized that I wasted taxpayers' money filing suit. Well, right now I have a chief information officer, only temporary, which isn't good. It's not a good way to attract people when someone's designated temporary or keep somebody. But I find it ironic that I'm being criticized for wasting money, and I'm a neighbor in Norwood, and I used to be a trustee at that Aggie school, and to see what's going on with the solar panels. There's other lawsuits going on, I guess, but they don't mention any of that as far as expending taxpayers' resources on lawsuits. But I'm getting criticized because it's not it's a team approach. The people that use the registry, whether they're attorneys, real estate brokers, assessors, but anyone out there, if your house, if you own property, the people that authenticate the title to your homes and businesses, they rely on the data and the records. And suddenly, if there's no technology, and in this era of cybersecurity and ransomware and all the stuff going on, everybody who owns property should be very wary. I'm afraid of what's going to happen if they proceed with what this consultant is saying. They use the word consolidation, and to me, consolidation means, look at, you're taking something from the registry, and it's going to hurt the registry. People don't realize we had a fire at the registry February 6, 2021. I get a call from the Denham Fire Saturday morning, 6 in the morning. I'm there. I'm calling my IT staff people in. They're there, and that's how it should work. I don't want to be calling some other department or some other person, that's how the registry has excelled in these 20 years, and I think it's important to continue that. And I'm not going to. The registry isn't going to have that, but more importantly, the people that rely on the services of the registry, I am fearful of what could happen because of this lack of recognition of how important technology is at the registry.
Well, there's an old saying, Bill, as we both know, that you can't please all the people all the time. If you please half the people half the time, you're doing a good job.
Well,
especially in our game.
Yes,
right?
All these years, it makes you appreciate a lot of the modernization initiatives we just talked about. There was no resistance. People embraced, and they let you run with it. They let your IT department run with it, and I'm grateful for that, because a lot of the things we talked about as far as the technology and just the whole modernization aspect of the Registry of Deeds, it was done in a team approach. And I just wish, especially, we'll see what the county commissioners do, but I wish they would embrace the good that the Registry of Deeds has done and the service it provides. And
you generate a lot of revenue.
Well,
for the
over
county and
81,
the state.
and that's why it's not about money. This isn't a case. And now I know that there's it sounds like there's financial issues in other parts of the county, but you deal with it, and they must have known about it. So I don't know how. They use the word consolidation. To me, consolidation is a big euphemism for elimination. Think about businesses. Oh, we're consolidating. Yeah, when you're a worker, you usually know what that means. You're out the door. I don't want to consolidate any services. I don't want to jeopardize any services. And ultimately, I think pursuant to the state law, the Registry of Deeds is elected to run the registry, and I just hope they listen, not just to me. I mean, we had a hearing yesterday with the commissioners. My staff, we have 5 attorneys. Not too many registries of deeds have 5 attorneys on staff. Well, 3 of my fellow staff people, who assistant registers, I mean, they made a compelling case. And to me, I hope they just keep it to the facts and not the noise. Let's stick to the facts.
Particularly, you mentioned a valid point. With all the COVID federal funding, I want to get your opinion on something, too. A good friend of mine is a commissioner in Plymouth County. They were the only county in the state that decided to keep the federal funds and distribute it with the cities and town. Well, one city, Brockton, rest towns out of the 26 communities. And theirs was about $90 million, and now Norfolk County Commission decided to turn the money over to the state at the urging of the governor, Charlie Baker. So do you think that negatively impacted services in the county?
I have a hard enough time running the Registry of Deeds. However, I guess the commission has revisited that, because on the second round of money, now they're doing the Plymouth model.
Okay.
I recognize the cities and towns, want the money, need the money, and certainly, don't want to, jeopardize what they're, the commissioners are now involved in that. That's separate. I hope they look at I hope everyone who's listening, isn't looks at the registry issue, which is they do a nice job, they provide service. So why, as one of my assistants, who incidentally is newer. He came from Middlesex County. And Middlesex County, I hope people realize, Norfolk was the second busiest. This consultant found that we were the second busiest registry in the state of Massachusetts the last 3 years. And he came from Middlesex County, which is the busiest. And he said, everyone should be doing what Norfolk County does. And he used the words to the commissioners, if it's not broken, don't fix it.
Don't fix it.
I don't know if they I don't know if those words were well received. However, I think he was right.
Well, my friend, the county commissioner, I told her I was interviewing today. She heard a lot about the good programs you have. She wanted to know what you do to prevent an awareness of mortgage fraud.
Well,
kind of program you
in
have?
Plymouth County, they have a great register, John Buckley, and again,
Know
we're
him
in a
very
registers association, and he's doing a lot of the transcription project and things like that. Yes, there is frauds out there. Actually, the FBI says that the fastest growing segment of white collar crime is property and mortgage fraud. Now, what we've done, we were one of the first registries we have, and you can go on our website and sign up free. It's called the Consumer Notification Service. Now, we did it. Now people are hearing, LifeLock, it was Newt Gingrich and Rudy Giuliani before him. Well, ours is a very similar program, but it doesn't cost you anything. So if you're a Norfolk County resident, you can sign up, and I've signed up. And how it works is, if any William O'Donnell document comes through, I get an email. Now, I can look up the information, but if I'm not good, harking back to my dad's words, you can call our customer service center at 781-461-6101, and they'll look up. And how it works is I get a notice, and sometimes I get a William O'Donnell from Quincy or something. Well, it's not me. But there could be a time I get a document, and I'm William Patrick O'Donnell. Whoa, this is a deed to my house. I didn't sign that. Or, wait, this looks like a mortgage, but I didn't sign it. I didn't get any money from this bank. Now, we haven't prevented the fraud, Dick. I want to be clear on that. But think about it. When my dad and mom bought property, they never looked up a deed for years until they sold the house, maybe. Mm-hmm. So what this does is I get a notice, and we haven't prevented the fraud, but now you can get on it right away. And on our website, we have links to the law enforcement agencies, and you can get on it and say, wait a minute, this isn't me, and then start working on it. So we haven't seen the fraud in Norfolk County, but there was someone convicted in Worcester County for fraudulently selling property. It's happened in other jurisdictions, and when the FBI says something like that, it's probably only a matter of time. So I can come up with ideas and see things that are going on in other jurisdictions and say, hey, I want to do this in Norfolk County. But then I have to go to my IT staff and say, how can we make this happen? How can we put this on the website? How can we incorporate all this? And that's what's so important about having keeping the department the way it is. In the registry, working with the register, working with the registry staff, working with registry stakeholders like the lawyers and the title examiners and the assessors, but also working with the general public. And that's what's so important, because an anti-fraud program that your friend asked you about, we have in Norfolk County, and not every county has it. Right. But we have it because you look for ideas, but in this day and age, every idea has a technology component. And the cornerstone of all the modernization initiatives we've talked about, and there probably will be more coming down the line, because who would have thought about electronic recording when I first became registered in 2002? It all involves technology. Right.
I subscribe to your newsletter. You get that out, very informative. And the last newsletter I wrote, you said some of the mortgage foreclosures are up a little in the fourth quarter due to COVID, and maybe people not working? Or?
Well, they're up. Well, I think the numbers are up because there was a moratorium during COVID that prevented, things like foreclosures from happening. So there's been a spike in numbers, but some of it might be the pent up. There was state and federal laws said you couldn't foreclose, and again, the registry isn't involved in the foreclosure except for this. When if you're not paying your mortgage, you can get foreclosed on, and they file a lawsuit. And what they have to do is file a notice of foreclosure. So this was back before foreclosures, but when there was a spike in foreclosures in 2008, we said, let's track the foreclosures, the notices. And then again, sometimes when you get a notice, you end up, you had a job situation, a health situation, and you get yourself out of it. But what we decided to do, we partnered up and again, if you go on our website, but we partnered up with nonprofit agencies, the Quincy Community Action Program and Neighbor Works Housing Solution, and also the Attorney General's office, where if you find yourself in a situation where you got a notice to foreclose, or maybe you haven't gotten it, but you're not paying the mortgage, these agencies are nonprofit. They give you, what I like about them is they give counseling. And they also give some guidance on the legal end of what you're facing. But I think it's important, it doesn't matter, here in Walpole, Norwood, any community, Dover, there are people that have been foreclosed on. If you find yourself in that situation, go to our website and reach out to those nonprofit, they don't charge, groups, and get some help and some guidance. That's our only involvement. They legally have to file a notice, which means someone's in trouble. And then at the end of the process, after the court cases, we're not involved in the court cases. If the sheriff, if it was foreclosed on, they record a foreclosed deed. The bank will record a deed. Right. And what I tell people, don't wait till the sheriff's there, and that's going on, and they're doing a sale on your property. Go get some help. Go get some guidance, and they'll help you. And again, those agencies are on our website, and so we put those numbers out, and not just to show that make it look at, if you're struggling, or if you know someone that's struggling, reach out and get some help.
You want to repeat your website again?
Sure. Our website, it's the Norfolk County Registry of Deeds website. It's www.norfolkdeeds.org. And if they want to call, our customer service center is 781-461-6101. Or if you want to email me, it's register, O'Donnell, O-D-O-N-N-E-L-L, @norfolkdeeds.org.
Yeah, we're running down to our time limit. It's been very fascinating and informative. You're doing a great job. Keep up the good work. And we're in very interesting times. I know myself, serving as a Board of Assessor in Walpole, we'll be dealing with shortly a lot of these businesses whose business has been way off, and they're going to come in and file for an abatements. And we have an overlay account where I think we have about $1.5 million to cover some of the abatements, so that's going to be challenging. COVID's really impacted a lot of us, not only businesses but individuals as well. So the other thing I want to point out too, not too many people realize this, but if you do file for an abatement, you can go to your local community, and if you don't get that, you can appeal it to the Department of Revenue. But you do, as you point out, you pay a Norfolk County tax, a small tax, right, residents? And can you go before the commissioners as well?
I'm not an expert on abatement, but my memory was you could either go take it to the Massachusetts, right. When they appeal the assessor's decision, yeah. Or they could go to the county commissioners, but I think when they do, the town then has a right to take it to the state, and I think they go to the state because it's for tactical reasons or whatever. Yeah. But theoretically, I remember the old laws that you could appeal an abatement either to go up to the state or go to the county. But I think if they go to the county, the town has a right to remove it to the state, which sometimes they
We
do.
just had a meeting a couple of weeks ago to make recommendations to the select board. We vote on the tax shift, which affects the tax rate between the 4 categories: residential, commercial, industrial, and land. So we made our recommendation, but it's up to the select board to vote on it. But one area I brought up, and some communities have, is a residential tax exemption, and the way that would work in Walpole. And one of the select board members was interested in exploring it. So the average assessed property in Walpole right now is $591,000. So anyone whose assessment would fall under that would get a slight tax break, but the shift goes on to those homes that are valued over that amount.
Well, it's all complex, and when you mentioned numbers, I'm thinking about some of those fees. One of the fees we collect at the registry is the Community Preservation Act, and 19 out of the 28 Norfolk counties have that. Now that gets sent to the Department of Revenue and eventually winnows its way back to the communities that have Community Preservation Acts. Well, we collect that money through technology, so I don't know what's going to happen to all these local programs, these local towns that have Community Preservation Act projects, because I'm very worried about not having on-site technology
Right.
with all this money
Sure.
coming in. And in this era of cybersecurity and ransomware, I have confidence in my IT team, but that doesn't mean as we get it tested. They say,
Right.
and the testing people say, Bill, it's not a matter of if, it's usually when.
Right.
But at least I have a team there, because these are significant dollars that
Absolutely.
get collected.
Well, you make a
and,
very compelling argument. I think we covered most of the topics, but before we sign off, and I appreciate you coming on the show, it's great to see you
It was
again.
great to see you, and thanks
And
for having me.
would you like to end it with anything to the viewers?
Well,
or-
no, I
mean,
just-
you gave them some great information. Now I know what you do.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a good idea, but you were very
Oh,
clear
well,
and-
Walpole's a
and-
great town. I for years, going way back when it was Pete's dream, going to the Friends of St. Patrick, and here it is, the holidays are coming. Norwood stole the Friends of St. Patrick, and the Friends of St. Nick is tomorrow, actually, in Norwood, but it's always great being here in Walpole, and if anyone ever needs anything from the Registry of Deeds, please feel free to contact
Well, you
us.
look fantastic. You mentioned you're involved with sports. You play hockey yourself. still.
I'll
You
be
gotta get
tonight at
Right up
in
the
Walpole
street,
at
yeah.
Rodman Arena, but it used to be experience and treachery beat youth and talent, but now these 30-year-olds and 20-year-olds are just skating circles around me, but I have fun with it, so we keep doing it, and still doing a little coaching, so it's fun.
Keep up the good work, Bill. It's great to see you again. I really appreciate you coming on An Outside View, and we'll send you the link so you can put it up on your website.
That would be great. Thanks
And,
very much.
I'm glad you're doing well and wish you the best of luck in the future. When are you up for
You too.
re-election, by the way?
2024. No,
Oh, so you're all set. Well, you've been
I'll
at it.
still be working. My daughter's getting married in June, so
Right,
I'm going to still be working.
Well, thanks again for coming
No,
on. It's
Dick,
been
thank
a
you for
pleasure.
having me.
And
Thanks.
best of luck.
Thanks.
And Merry Christmas.
Yeah, you too, and healthy and New Year.
Absolutely. Thank you.